just start. I got the setup. I'm just press record. I got the boom right here above me. Of course, it was low, but you know what I mean. That's what I mean too. Like you'll just press the button. You feel me? Not press the button, normalize and all that shit for me. We'll go stereo, high fidelity, and so what we'll do. This just on some spiritual shit. This ain't even on no work shit for now. This just spiritual right now, cause what this has to do with anything is kind of setting the pretext for, you know, basically like all the work I'm doing is just to bring the black man back to the scriptures and our culture. You know what I mean? And so it's just using production and sports and all that shit as a vehicle to implement, a lot of this information. So, what was I finna say? I was finna say, yeah. So I'll just start doing these, and what we'll do is we'll come up with a system first, of course. But this will be like on some savage shit. We'll just break this shit down. Um, you know what I mean? And that way, this will tie everything in to what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? And I had this shit in the tuck, and we'll be working on this behind the scenes. And I'm gonna come up with like a history series, history videos, and all of that, right? Basically, it's gonna be a research series section of the series, and then it's gonna be straight up proven shit. You know what I mean? And research, and that way, right. If I show people my research process, cause right, I'm going all the way to the beginning, right? So I'm gonna do an introductory series where I go all the way to the beginning and show people how I even got here, explain who I am, what I do, what I was doing, you know what I mean, how I got to this, and we're just gonna make a comprehensive series and eventually a show platform where we research. So it might be something I don't know, and that way I could show people I don't know about this, but let's look into it. It's just an objective platform on not necessarily history, but what is the word? It's so crazy, bro. I think of this shit in my sleep. You know what I'm saying? I was sleeping and I kept thinking. I would wake up and think of some new shit because it's like I was. That's how I know it was born, or this is how I feel like I know. Is why I think theorize sometimes that I was born to do this shit because it's like these thoughts are developing in my brain. It's like I'm I'm like a product in the oven or something. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just constantly developing this, and I'm taking shape and taking form. And so, um, where was I going? Where was I going? That's why you'll be my show assistant. Where was I going? Where was I going? Oh, you got historians and you got antiquarians. So let's look that up. In anything I say, if you don't understand something or anything, just give your feedback because the you're going to represent the presence of the audience, the outside audience. You know what I mean? Because a lot of this shit you don't know. You know what I'm saying? So antiquarian, spelled it wrong, but antiquarian is a person who studies or collects antiques or antiquities. Right? That's the definition in the dictionary. But if you go to Wikipedia, right, which is an online encyclopedia, which I got something coming to, pertaining to the legitimacy of using Wikipedia as a source, right? Because that's Wikipedia. Like, what does that even mean, right? Because you have, I'm so sharp, and I'm glad I could do it like this because we could do pictures and everything, right? It's just basically covering a lot of topics around this whole sphere. You know what I'm saying? And so, oh, Wikipedia, it's an encyclopedia. It's an online encyclopedia. Just like people will question the authority of information, right? Let me start typing shit too. Let's get back to that. I didn't even know I could save sticky notes too, man. But let's get a new one. People will. Let me see. Let's make this font big. It's just to keep me on track. I like to take notes. Eventually, I'm gonna Lord willing get a camera set up. You remember how back in the day they used to have those, what them shits used to call? The teachers used to call them, where the projectors and shit. What was the name for them?
Smart boards.
Not the smart board, bro. Older than that, where it used to literally just show what they was writing.
It was like, yeah,
Used
I
to
know
be
what
a
you're talking
name
about.
for it, bro. Like, yeah, but we gonna
It's
get
just
it.
a projector.
Nah, hell, it's a projector, but there was a name, like there was a brand. You know, there's a certain term in literature when people call like a Clorox. People call shit a Clorox,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah, yeah.
everything ain't a
I see what
Clorox.
you're saying.
Yeah,
Right,
it ain't no. It's just a white, but people could say, "Hey, give me a Clorox," or you know what I mean.
right.
Forget what the term is right now, but what was I saying? Oh, but people question the authority, right, of information, right? The source isn't in, right, because the problem is when you're into being an antiquarian, right, which is a element of being an autodidact, autodidact, right, which is somebody who's self-taught, right, which people get on that, but that's pretty much right the basis of college researching, right? Like the researching methods, right? They're pretty much training you to research things, right? All in college. That's why you do so many writing, so much writing, so many writing assignments and stuff. Excuse me. But what was I saying? Yeah, when it comes to sources, they question authority. But a source is what? A person or institution, right? And it's of assumed authority, right? Which they should have some credibility. How are people getting credibility? General consensus by members of that industry. And that's going to make my point, right? Is because at a certain time and era, right? Membership was restricted and constricted. There were it was restricted to persons of a certain race or status. So this information was not generally accessible. So one can assume, well, not even assume, certain people had authority slash control over world records, leaving it what? Meaning what? We don't have a what do they call that? Checks and balances, which leaves it open to partisanship and bias, which where we get the word agenda and we get the words conspiracy, right? Right? People always say, "Oh, you're a conspiracy theorist," but then there's a movement against white supremacy, which is what? On basis a conspiracy, right? White supremacy is supposed to be a conspiracy that, well, we'll get in. Well, we're not even gonna make, but we're going to show people that I know these things off the top. Well, how do you? I don't know this, so you don't know this. Like Chronicles said, that's what people would say. No, motherfucker, I know this. You don't know this. I'm not like you. I actually care about this stuff. I'm an actual antiquarian. And I'll show you the difference between an antiquarian and a historian. Antiquarian, let's see. Matter of fact, let's get into it. The whole point of this, though, is let's just go back to the idea of sources, right? Being an antiquarian. So let's actually, let's get more organized. Let's get into what an antiquarian is, and then we'll get into the importance of defining credible sources and authority, right? Because if we're going to do research with the internet, and why is this important? Because the internet is a new form of information, right? And so, what does that mean? We have access, and the more, now that you have more minds, you have more interpretation, and you have less control and agenda and slant on interpretation and discovery of said information. So now you have a broadening of the research community, right? Because now, back then, so-called blacks or Hispanics, or you might not even had access to your own records, right? And so one thing in information, right? Like a personal connection to something. And if I have a personal connection to something and I'm directly related to the information, I'm probably going to go deeper down the rabbit hole. It's going to be more relevant, right? And that's where we get this, right? That'll be a term, relevance. We want to establish, oops. Man, what the fuck? The fuck is this? Man, what the fuck? I don't know. We want to establish relevance for our claims and theories. So this is all relevance, right? People use the word context, right? And this is an element of relevance. So I'm working on this series, and this is something I could be proud of and tell people, hey, I'm working on this, working on that, we're getting it right. And I'm also going to document this is something that I just learned to do, because even for myself, right? When I like explaining things, I might want to teach someone else how to do something in their own mind, so own right. So I'm going to document my whole process of me creating it. And it's also good for review. So somebody like you were tired last night, but guess what? We got it on file. And you can keep the information. It's just like online schooling, right? Which we're going to get into the irony, right? But let's look at what an antiquarian is, right? Because we have the internet now and everybody can do research, right? So how do we establish credibility in the information age, the digital information age, when there's so much misinformation and everyone is not qualified? And so that's another term, defending our qualifications. Because people are going to say, who are you to know this? And that's why you have to present objective information, empirical data, with sources, and divulge self of biases. So, to question historical narratives, right, established and instituted, question established and previously historical narratives, right, where in our public resources, right, so our schools, libraries, media, laws, right, are all based on historical narratives. So how do we question them? We have to identify and determine occurrences or a presence of bias or when something, let me think of what's the word I'm looking for, when something's not true, just incorrectness, I don't know, think of a word later. So when we can find that something's either not right or is biased in nature, that undermines its authority. So we have to locate the parties involved and identify the errors. And in the spirit of education, we must rectify the impact and dispersing of mis/disinformation because it is harmful to the public, because it just limits access to information, and that goes into society, right? So let's get into how can we get credibility for people sitting around and researching things on their own, because that's what you do in college. That's the whole point, right? You take college, you're in college, right? What do they have you doing, right? Writing papers, right? How do we grow up? Get on the internet, find some sources, write some papers on popular issues. That's all school is, right? Do some research, have this many sources, stay away from this and stay away from that, right? So they're basically training you to be a what? A researcher. So if we're getting taught how to research, if that's good enough and the basis for these institutions, then if you've been in college, you've had some kind of training or experience in doing quote unquote accepted, professional, institutionalized research, right? Because they're training you to be able to what? Work at it for corporations or other institutions, contributing to overall research and development of society, right? So you're going on the internet and you're researching things on your own and you're citing sources. So how is that any different except for the fact that they're telling you to do it, right? They don't even really pick what you do. They give you a grade and this and that, the third, right? These are people who have all been uh, part of it's just a system, schooling system, university is a system because they have similar regulation, they have similar styles of doing things, and they want you to stick to the system. But let's look at what an antiquarian. We're in the age of antiquarianism, right? An antiquarian or antiquary, right? Antiquarius, meaning pertaining to ancient times, is an aficionado. So aficionado, let's get into a fan or fanatic. An enthusiast is a person who exhibits strong interest or admiration for something. So they're trying to tie it to a fan or a fanatic, and an aficionado is not the same thing. Aficionado is somebody who has a lot of information and interest into something. A fan is somebody who's obsessed with something. But you see how they try to tie this together. And we'll get into the origins of Wikipedia and who governs it and this and that, the third, right? But let's see. More specifically, the term is used for those who study history with particular attention to. Hold on. They're not. There we go. With particular attention to ancient artifacts, archaeology, or historical sites or historical archives and manuscripts. The essence of antiquarianism is focused on the empirical evidence of the past and is perhaps best encapsulated in the model adopted by the 18th century antiquary Sir Richard Colt Hoare. We speak from facts, not theory. The Oxford English Dictionary first cites archaeologists from 1824. This soon took over the usual term for one major branch of antiquarian activity. Archaeology from 1607 onwards initially meant what is seen now as ancient history. Ancient history, what's the term? How do they define it? The aggregate past events of the beginning of writing and recorded human history and extending as far as late antiquity. So basically, it's everything that they can find records for. The span of recorded history is 5,000 years, beginning with Sumerian cuneiform script. So we're going to have to go there eventually, right? And so the span of recorded history, written history, that's going to be important because the basis of antiquarianism is empirical evidence, right? Which is what? Empirical evidence for a proposition is evidence, i.e., what supports or counters this proposition. This is constituted by accessible to sense, experience, or experimental procedure. Empirical evidence, basically, evidence that you can experience. So this is the basis of antiquarianism, right? So, of course, if we're going to study ancient history, we got to use things that we find and things that we have. So look, here they go. Today, the term antiquarian is often used in a pejorative sense to refer to an excessively narrow focus on factual history trivia, to the exclusion of a sense of historical context or process. Very few people would describe themselves as an antiquary, although the term blah blah blah. Nah, I'm an antiquarian. I'm beginning to be one. Right? So you get what I'm saying, bro? I'm saying I'm gonna need some response too from you, so I know where to go with certain things. But go ahead.
Yeah, I'm trying to make it seem like it's a bad thing too.
Well, not necessarily a bad thing. They're just saying that nowadays it means basically people who stick on one specific thing that doesn't fit into the historical narrative. So You know, they got ways of saying what they want to say, right? So, being an antiquarian is a student of antiquities. Antiquities are the objects from antiquity. So, artifacts, manuscripts. So, you actually study the stuff that was here, right? So, let's look at what a historian is. A historian is a person who studies history and writes about the past and is regarded as an authority on it. Right? That's our source historian from Princeton, you know, the print from WordNet Web Princeton. Let's go. Let's go to our source. So this is how Princeton defines a historian. So somebody who is an authority. So how do you get authority over it? Historians, and we're gonna get into using Wikipedia as a source because, right, we're going back to qualifications, relevance, authority. The whole idea of this is authority, right, and credibility, right. So people would say you if you even use Wikipedia, they're like, oh, that's on Wikipedia, not understanding Wikipedia is an online. We'll get into that. It's an online encyclopedia. It's no different, right? What is okay? Here's the thing. There is a difference. There is a difference. But what's the difference? Let's get into what's the difference between an encyclopedia that is printed and that used to be. Let's just get into encyclopedia, right? Because I don't feel like explaining all these things. My damn self. When I could just give it to you, give it to you. Yo, what? Encyclopedia. I don't want the Encyclopedia of Alabama. I just want the encyclopedia. So an encyclopedia is a book or set, and this is coming from Oxford. We'll get into who these people are and what their authority is, right? Because if we're going to question authority, we got to understand what gives somebody authority, who has what level of authority over what, and how do they have it. So an encyclopedia, a book or set of books giving information on many subjects or on many aspects of one subject and is typically arranged alphabetically. So let's go to encyclopedia.com. Let's look up. This is the world's number one online encyclopedia, and where do they get their credibility? Educational institutions: Oxford, Columbia, Cengage, basically these popular establishments give these places. Look who's using Harvard, NASA, the New York Times. So let's ask them though. Read more about our content and why so many people love it. Okay, see, this is how you do research. You don't have to make shit up or come off the top of your head. You know what I mean? I'm coming off the top of my head because I know a lot of this shit, but um, this is how you provide a lot of credibility to what you're saying. You use different sources. You know what I mean? You make your point and counter arguments and your theses based off of things that people can see themselves that are easily accessible, that are established, right? If you're challenging the established narrative, you use the established narrative against itself. So about encyclopedia.com, as the internet's premier collection of online encyclopedias, provides you with reference entries from credible published sources like Oxford and Columbia. So that's their source of credibility. So for them to be credible, Oxford and Columbia would have to be credible institutions historically with the dispersion of correct and impartial information, right? And it's like, we'll just get into this because the whole idea is, what is an encyclopedia? What make, you know what I mean? So At encyclopedia.com, you get free access to over 300,000 reference entries from sources you can cite, plus 50 topic summaries. So basically, people writing their own shit from around the world. Encyclopedia takes great care in constantly updating our content. All use. Okay, so why everybody likes it? Because of Oxford, Columbia. So let's learn about Oxford. No, actually, let's just learn what an encyclopedia is, like the history of it. Nah, nah, see, I want to know about encyclopedias. Can I learn about an encyclopedia on encyclopedias? I want to learn about encyclopedias. I'm not getting anything about an encyclopedia on encyclopedia.com. Hmm. But I thought an encyclopedia is supposed to give me information on every damn thing and topics in order. So look like we can't use them right now. So everybody sees this is the only reason I'm. This is the number one world trusted according to them, right? And I clicked to see maybe a study or something, and they gave me a self-proclaimed testament. So, encyclopedia. Look, Wikipedia has that. Hold on. Matter of fact, let's go back. Wikipedia is hosted by the Wikimedia Foundation, a nonprofit organization that hosts it. So we'll get into that too. This is long-winded, but it has to be extensive because these we're covering everything, and so when we do it, we'll chop everything up and put it in its proper order. We'll leave what we need. You know what I mean? But we're going and getting everything, and we're gonna put everything. This is why I used to like my school. They used to have all these books just right. You know what I mean? An encyclopedia, American, and they had maps, everything. An encyclopedia is a reference work or compendium. So that's a compendium is a comprehensive collection of information and analysis pertaining to a body of knowledge. So I guess you could say we're making a digital compendium. You learn something new every fucking day. Providing summaries, and with this, we're going to speak and use this vocabulary and these terms because we want to increase and improve people's not only their diction but their Rolodex, their vocabulary, their knowledge base, right? We want to increase your quote unquote IQ. We want you to know what these words means and be able to use them. You know, we're gonna speak in this way because we're trying to improve black the black intellect. Providing summaries of knowledge, either general or special, to a particular field or discipline. Encyclopedias are divided into articles or entries that are arranged alphabetically by article names or by thematic categories, and are else hyperlinked and searched by random access. The ability to access an arbitrary element of a sequence in equal time, no matter how many elements. Okay, so you're able to jump around. Encyclopedia entries are look at my comprehension speed, man. Come on, man. Encyclopedia entries are longer and more detailed than those in most dictionaries. So a dictionary just gives you a listing of lexemes from the lexicon of one or more. So basically, definitions, words, and how they're used. A lexeme and a lexeme is part of a lexicon. So a word and how it's used in a collection of words. So generally speaking, encyclopedia focus on factual. A fact is a datum, right? Let's get into what a fact is, right? A datum about one or more aspects of a circumstance which is If it's accepted as true and proven true, it allows a logical conclusion to be reached on a true false evaluation. So it's good to know the accepted definition of fact in the modern day, right? Like a fact. If it's a fact, if it's true, it's got to be true, because if one part of it is off, then any conclusion I make using that fact will be in question. So it has to be a building block of an argument, or you know what I'm saying? So if I say, if I can prove that I'm not African, then everything that's based on me being African is now disproven. It's based, so they're saying encyclopedias, generally speaking, of course they gotta say generally speaking because it applies to this site itself. Generally speaking, encyclopedia articles focus on factual information. So speaking on that, how can you determine if something is a fact? You have to do research, and you have to have data that supports that, right? And so if you don't have the data, and the data doesn't support it, and it's not proven, then something can't be regarded as a fact. It can just be a theory. See, scientific facts are verified by repeatable, careful observation, and they're going to say tests and stuff. So a lot of these things that call themselves facts, and that's going to be what we're doing, is fact checking the fact checkers, the people. Basically, who are you people? We're questioning all authority, and I'm gonna show you why we're questioning authority, because right, the landscape we're in, all these racial things, everybody wants to defund the police and white supremacy, and the system is broken. We know the system doesn't work from our everyday anecdotal experience. We all have anecdotal experiences that corroborate that um, the powers that be, being the governmental bodies that run the world, which I got into last night, don't actually do what they say they're going to do all of the time. And a lot of time, they don't take accountability for it, and it actually affects the status and condition of actual human life, which leads to what? Insurrection. Like when you have the people at the top not doing what they're supposed to do, is what we call corruption. The people at the top are corrupt. It leads to the corruption to the people at the bottom, because they can't trust, because any system is supposed to benefit the people within it. So if the people up top are fucking the system up and not following the rules, they're taking away the liberties and the benefits of the people below who don't have as much power. And it leads to civil unrest. So this shit is all supposed to be based on facts concerning the subject named in the article title. This is unlike dictionary entries, which focus on linguistic information about words using their etymology, meaning, pronunciation, use, and grammatical forms. Okay, this is what I wanted to. Encyclopedias have existed for around 2,000 years and have evolved considerably during that time as regards language, size, intent, culture, perspective, uh, authorship. Basically, different styles, different people, different reasons. And the technologies available for their production and distribution: handwritten manuscripts, large print runs, internet. As a valued source of reliable information compiled by experts, printed versions found a prominent place in libraries, schools, and other educational institutions. The appearance, so there were experts, and so one can assume from what we read that these experts are getting their credibility from founded institutions. So basically, my whole point is, all of these things are people with information, claiming to have information, or with authority, however they got it, right? And we'll get into that, giving other people authority. But we just read in a fact, right? The definition of a fact. Can we really give authority to people who assumed authority in an unpresent or unfair way, right? Because isn't that the whole point of white supremacy and the Democrats and liberal rights and stuff like that? Ain't that the hot topics in the world in the UN and egalitarianism of everybody being equal? So if everybody's not being equal, right? That's what they're claiming, and people have been oppressed, and they're trying to overthrow. They've the Republicans and this and that and all this other shit, old white patriarchy. The patriarchy is untrustworthy. Then how can we trust any of this information from these institutions? Everything has to be right according to facts, right? If the fact was supposed to be that these people are the established people, and we already know because they could read and write and they came up with their institutions. But how do we know? How do we verify as other human beings, checks and balances, their access to information and the way they use their information? So my whole point is everything has to be open season. The same people who wrote your books were some of the same people who told you lies. So a book is just written by an organization. So nowadays, with the access to information, we find out all the time um, organizations that are presented to be certain things. Let's give an example. Black Lives Matter buys mansion. Black Lives Matter secretly bought a $6 million house. Allies and critics alike have questioned where the organization's money has gone. So there was this big old campaign to give to this organization that was supposed to be doing what's best for black people. On last, three leaders sat around a table in an expensive house in Southern California. The women were recording a YouTube video to mark their first anniversary of George Floyd's murder. They discussed their racial justice work. See, this is going to be a comprehensive series. That's why we have to edit it a certain way, because it's basically just me sitting down and showing people my mind and just showing people things, and me also committing to a certain level of research. So it's going to cover a lot of shit. Recording a YouTube video. Is the YouTube video still up? I hope it's not. So let's actually watch this YouTube video.
I'm so glad to have the both of you here and in person.
Oh, let's change my sound thing to get a let's figure out what these damn bitches is saying, because this might be hilarious. Really, it's not hilarious, but it's hilarious in an ironic way.
Yes! It's been a really...
Oh, well, I might be bigger than COJ, man. With this shit I'm doing. Laura Willa. You know, shout out to that man, COJ. But hold on, let me warm my eyes up and mind up to see what I'm finna see. But this is where I'm starting this series, right? Is because I want to connect with us that learn in this digital age up in the production. And I want to add to what he's doing. So he might not have the production mind to include all of this, right? But me being somebody in production, this is what I specialize in. And I study basically digital media, you know, and the way we interact with it, digital culture. So that's what I consider myself to be an expert in, or at least an aficionado of, right? So we don't have to say expert. I'm just an aficionado. I just have an extreme interest. So we'll start using that word. That's the more fitting word anyways. I'm an aficionado. Like my dad, he's not an expert, in music. He's an aficionado. He consumes it and analyzes it, but he can't necessarily play music himself. Like I can't code and all this stuff. But hey, let's see.
I'm so glad to have the both of you here and in person.
Yes.
Hold on, this is an archive. Hold on, I just seen some an archive video, currently set to private on Patrice Colors channel. So somebody archived the video. Welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited to be a part of this roundtable with BLM leaders Melinda Abdullah, Alicia Garza. These don't even to reflect both activism in the 21st century, but also in the last year alone, where so much progress was made. After now, I see why Chronicles be acting like this, because when you really sitting still, you got your business in order. You can sit down and attack these things with knowledge and gumption. With the tragic murders of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and countless other Black lives, we discuss our personal journeys with activism, as well as what we have envisioned the future of Black Lives Matter. Okay.
Really intense year and a half.
That was a nice way to talk about it.
Right.
And I look up to the both of you
Get some closed caption.
so much. You know, you're big sisters to me, you're movement leaders, you're gangsters.
They're gangsters. Why would you want to be a gangster as an activist? And even if you're just joking, somebody that's aware of and fighting against Black oppression and stereotypical, you know what I mean? The use of stereotyping and profiling against the so-called Black community, you would think you wouldn't use the term gangsters. Because that isn't gang bootlegging and all that, these parties that the mob and all of them that dropped these crates and all this and that were affiliated with the government, weren't they supposedly responsible with influencing the Black community to do crimes? Weren't these gangsters guys that put in these racially motivated crime bills and stuff that set the Black community back? So just like it's just a word. Words matter though. Why can't I just say faggot? Why can't I mean faggot in the way that I mean faggot? Why can't I call you a bitch or a tranny? Interesting. But I guess you can use whatever word you want to use if you got the right people behind you, huh?
But you're also like folks that I literally.
And look, co-director of BLM Grassroots, co-founder of Black Lives Matter. So this is Alicia Garza, this is Melina Abdullah, and the other lady I'm guessing is Patrice Colors.
Call like when I'm having a joyful moment, but also when shit's going down. And I just want to ask y'all, like, it's gonna be a
Last fucking supper, man. You can see this shit, right? Yo. I'm saying you can see this shit though, right? Okay, I'm just making sure.
since Freedom Summer, and a lot of shit went down. And how are you doing? Like, how are you feeling?
I feel good because I thought it was gonna kill us. What was great
I thought it was gonna kill us. Of course you look good. You motherfuckers is living large.
about it is we were prepared for it in a way, like as much as you can be, because we've been organizing for 7 years.
That's right.
And
So there's been a movement for 7 years. Okay.
there was a movement to
And this is a video that they set as private. So I wonder why it's not still up.
meet the moment.
Yes.
Matter of fact, let's confirm that. Let's not assume that. Video unavailable. It's private. It's not even taken down. So what can assume that they got monetization from it and they don't want to lose, you know what I mean? Who know? I don't know. Who knows? Maybe not. I don't know.
And there was,
If I'm wrong about something, we just take it out.
I remember when
Before it comes out. That's why you don't just put shit out.
everything started popping off, and it was just like constant and I felt overwhelmed. And I talked
Come on, bro. So-called black people, men all around contributing. These are your leaders. Like, come on, bro. This looks somebody's fucking mama, bro. We just was speaking on somebody
about it,
last
and
night who had a certain image, but never mind.
I also recognized that we have to rest later. Like we have.
That's the thing. I'm gonna speak freely on my damn platform, and if I say something crazy, we just gonna cut it out. Fuck it. Something that don't belong. But I'm gonna just be myself. Goddamn, look.
I also recognized that we have to rest later. Like we have to move everything. The world cracked wide open, right? You know, I got into that Lovecraft Country. You know, that was my thing.
I'm obsessed.
I know.
I'm obsessed.
We needed it.
We needed it.
Needed that.
But remember, like when Hippolyta was literally
Yes.
holding that the break
portal.
open, the portal open. Like I feel like that's what was happening. A portal open.
Hippolyta, what is that? A mother goddess or something? What the hell is this bitch talking about? Some Hippolyta. Yep. So we're not assuming these things. You know what I'm saying, bro? That's what I be trying to tell you, bro. This all you got to do is some research. Hippolyta. This is what she felt like. The sister. She was the daughter of Ares and whoever, queen of the Amazons, sister of. She wore her father's. So she was the daughter of Ares. So the Amazonian queen. So ain't that where Wonder Woman and them come from? So the mother goddess, basically, woman, you know, superwoman. She fell in love with Hercules. So we know this was black if it's Greek mythology. She was the queen of the tribe of the Amazons in Greek mythology. Oh my God. So that's who this bitch said she felt like. She was the daughter. She wore her father Arizona. The Greek word found in the Iliad, meaning war belt. The girdle. Damn, it look like they still love Heracles as black, huh? And for those who you don't know, Heracles is Hercules. Which that we'll get into that on the whole once we get there. So who is Ares? The son of Zeus and Hera. Ares is the god of war and courage. So the Amazons call themselves to be descendants of Ares or Mars, where you get Marius. Don't some of your shit come from this too? What is it? Oh, your last name, yeah. Mars is the god of war, son of Jupiter and Juno. So March was named after Mars. Augustus shifted the focus of Mars's cult. Okay, so there was of course we know the Greeks, and we'll get into all of that because we're going to have to attack all of these holidays, these rituals, and especially these fraternities and this fraternal order that nobody. Mars fathered Romulus and Remus through the rape of. So she's associating with herself with people that rape people, and come on, man. Does she even know that though? That's the question. So this is Aries, and the Amazons, they're queen warriors. Their society was closed for men, and their society. Hold on. This gets so deep. They were a group of female warriors and hunters who beat men in physical agility and strength, and archery, riding skills, and the arts of combat. Their society was closed for men, and they only raised their daughters, either killing their sons or returning them to their fathers, with whom they would only socialize briefly in order to reproduce. And that is, and as you can see, this Greek right here. And so these is all mythological bitches. I don't know. We can get into whether they were real or not. You know what I mean? I'm not sure, but because we know a lot of shit that they call mythology is just to hide what was really going on in the ancient world that they can't understand, because one, they found a lot of these ancient, a lot of the artifacts that depict these people as black, and then they say, well, this shit must have just been mythology, quote unquote, because they don't really want to deal with what they consider the supernatural qualities of black people, even though look at the Olympics. But anyways, these were Amazonian queens that killed their sons and didn't deal with men. And this is who she referenced. And trust me, bro, if you know the mission statement of the BLM, their whole idea was to get the man out of the house and to get rid of the patriarchy. So even though it might sound like a stretch, it's as much as a stretch as she's doing with her arms right now, because this is akin to the beliefs of these people, and she is a pseudo-educated woman, so she's not making this reference to this queen just off the top of her head. So
open the portal open, holding. But remember, like when Hippolyta was
Yes, they all remember that. I've never heard of Hippolyta, but I'm not, I didn't grow up getting into history. I'm just now getting into history because I know it's my relevance. I didn't want to learn history because I thought these were a bunch of old white motherfuckers, a whole bunch of made up shit, or a whole bunch of bullshit. I just learned that I was a slave, so I'm like, why the fuck do I need to learn next slave history? I want to create my own history.
Really holding,
which a lot of us go through, but let's get to this.
That the break open, the portal open. Like I feel like that's what was happening. A portal opened, right? And
portal opened.
How the whole community had to rush in to save D, right? To save our black future.
Save our black future.
Right? Like that's what was happening, but it wasn't Hippolyta. It's George Floyd's spirit holding it open.
It's George Floyd's spirit holding it open.
And Breonna Taylor. And so
Breonna Taylor and
didn't.
Only famous black people is holding it open.
You talk.
The people that they pick.
For this.
It's not none of the black people that were killed by other black people, or none of the babies that was sacrificed. It was these two people that were involved in criminality, and it was basically a hit job, but that's a whole nother thing.
Didn't have a right to our rest in that moment. Like it's go through the portal, save the future, put everything you can in, and you can rest later. Once
these people think this is good to see this, because this is the narcissism of these people. This is what they think they mean. This is their intent. Their intent was, we saved the world. We and you see them sitting at this round table like they at the Last Supper. So they're just getting an insight into their mindset. This is good. This is why I like using video and the actual source, so that you can see these things with your eyes, because there's certain things that are just, once you see for yourself, you're gonna know, because you recognize them. We're human beings. We're meant to interact with people in real life. We're not meant to see people behind glass or television projected all over the world and not know who they are and then accept what they say as fact. That's not natural. we're just now in that age.
So I feel really good about not giving ourselves rest, about the amount of energy and love and imaginative, what is it? Imagination that we gave.
So much, she don't know what the fuck she's saying.
And that, you know, we're transforming budgets and policy and the way that people think about black people. And all of a sudden, you know, we spent 7 years trying to argue with people about why we have to say Black Lives Matter. And now all of a sudden.
Black. Hold on. First of all, look at this woman. Anyways. Not to judge her off the basis of her skin color. But I mean, if we're gonna call ourselves black and go off our skin color and this and that, this lady, man, where is, you know, this lady look like she's mixed with some shit. Of course, you know, you can argue she got the Negroid features and stuff like that, but that's my whole point of, like, black is not a race. We don't call ourselves black. This woman is not black. She's like light brown, tannish. She's obviously like, she looks like a mulatto.
And everybody's like, yeah, Black Lives Matter, right?
We told them Black Lives Matter, and now everybody's like, yeah, Black lives do matter.
About this concept of safety, but what does it actually look like and feel like? And
you realize these are overweight women, and the lady in the middle with all that makeup on
got to collectively imagine that and put it into practice in a way that I've never seen. What is safety?
Old black women speaking on treatment on racism in America.
Like, what does safety actually look like?
Check out the leopard print she had on too.
And we got to do that together. I was talking to Angela about this, Angela Davis, and she was like, I never thought in my lifetime that I would hear people talk about abolition and defund at the popular public sphere.
So Angela Davis talking about abolition and defund. So she threw Angela Davis in there.
That it would be a conversation in the news media that people are figuring out and talking about. And so it's just powerful because so much of that work happened here in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And so much of that was led by your courage and the team's courage here.
Remember, we used to pretend like we weren't had to pretend like we weren't defund the police because this is a budget issue, right?
Yes.
And now we are talking about abolition. Yeah, we kind of just.
You hear what she just said? She said, remember, we had to pretend like we weren't trying to defund the police. But now we really are. These people came out and said this, man. That shows you they really thought, they really, really thought that they had us, man. And then when they put this shit out, they didn't delete it. They put it on private, like, oh, that didn't work. They probably already had it in the tuck. I wouldn't be surprised if this shit wasn't pre-recorded like a damn movie or like my damn shit right now.
Abolition.
What about you, A?
I'm okay. I mean, I'm feeling hopeful in a way that I don't feel like I've felt in a while. In reflecting on last year.
Not to mention, I think these girls are lesbians.
There was a lot of...
So they can't be with the so-called black community because how are we going to reproduce? How are we going to keep our genes, our DNA alive that makes us us, right? If we believe, white people are evil and oppressive, why would we mix our DNA with people that have tried to exterminate us? Wouldn't that weaken our DNA structure? Wouldn't that weaken the black brain and the black, wouldn't it, all of that mixing, wouldn't that dilute the pureness of it? Don't they tell you when you get a watch, don't ice it out? Okay.
Times when I just felt like, wow, we're growing. Like we're growing. Like there were things that would have tripped us up before.
Yes.
That folk were just like, you know, just kept it pushing, you know? And so I really appreciated that. Yeah, it was also a lot of full circles. Like I kept feeling like, oh, this cycle is closing and a new one is opening. And one of those actually did. It came around defund. And people freaking out. And I was like, oh, actually, we've been here already.
Yeah.
So they admitted that they operated a little like a agency where they hid a lot of their real shit behind things. Their whole thing was to defund the police the whole time.
We've been here already.
Because remember, it's not about remember we were acting like, oh, it's a budget issue. We need to reallocate the funds. No, that's just what they were telling people because they really wanted to defund the police and get rid of the order. And let's be honest, the police are the only thing, if you go into areas where the police are most called, it's in low income, poverty stricken, so-called urban communities with minorities, quote unquote. So defunding the police would only make the job of the police harder and protecting black people against what is most likely, more black people kill black people than anything else. And it's the police's job. But we're gonna get into that a whole different time, bro. Because I already know that's gonna be a whole nother argument I have to make. So
we know now you can.
But the whole point is these are the people behind this movement.
What's underneath for folk, but you cannot capitulate.
Yes.
You know, and so that is something that I've been feeling really good about. But also, and the hand wringing and this is gonna lose the election for the Democrats. It's like, it's not actually.
Right.
It's not. I was like,
So they were with the Democratic Party and admission.
What is happening right now is that millions more people are taking up the responsibility of bringing forward and getting in the middle of that portal and holding it open, right? And seeing that that's their role. I just remember when activism wasn't cool.
Yeah.
It wasn't cool to say, I'm an activist.
What? Aren't the most popular black people of all time all activists? Okay.
Organizer. Not everybody an activist. I'm an activist.
So they even admitted they had to act like organizers. So because they really wanted to rekindle that spirit of the black man who's so-called rise to notoriety in the civil rights era. So they wanted that energy. They wanted to be martyrs and leaders, quote unquote, really attention mongers. I see what my boy COJ talking about for our people. Because the reason he and I just say, the reason I can see that he calls them attention mongers and he says this, and I'm seeing transparently, is these people don't actually have a vested interest in improving the black community, because if they did, it would be based in substantiated data, it would be based in fact and history, looking at the numbers and actual issues and sitting down and saying, this is where we're lacking, this is what will help. They're not even bringing to the table real solutions. They're just basically going and marching and sensationalizing Black death. Oh, look, you killed another. All police are bad. Defund the like, what does this have to do? What is criminals getting killed by police officers have to do with the real issues? Now, it might be I get it being a microcosm and these people are not being held accountable, but if that's the case, then we have to go against the system. The system, if the whole system is broken, right? Listen to what you're saying. If the whole system is broken, then trying to elect people to change the system from within is not going to work, because the system is supposed to be designed to prevent that. But these are these broads, they put on turtlenecks and sit around and drinking wine and taking donation money to buy a mansion and act like they know what the fuck they're talking about by mentioning a bunch of fancy names and Angela Davis and yada. We're gonna get into all of that, man. We coming back for the black community in this bitch, man. This shit is over. Take the L out of love it, bitch. This shit is over.
Right. Okay, you know.
I can't stand this shit. Even looking at this bitch. These are race traitors. This is like Chronicles say, the new KKK.
And, you know,
they are against black men. They're against black homosexual men, should I say that? Which is really black men. Because if you're a homosexual, you are not a man because you're not doing what you're a male, but you're not performing the role of a man, of the counterpart to the female used to reproduce and protect and govern over his family and his race and his nation, the people who are supposed to be the head of earth. But you know, that goes into whatever you believe and your nationalism and your religious beliefs and your faith. So my whole point is to show you that these people though don't believe what they say they believe.
At the same time,
and we're going to get into another subject. Can you be a liberal Christian? What is a liberal Christian? We'll get into that later. Maybe not today, maybe not. Who knows? We'll see.
It was also weird for me. I didn't go to one protest last summer.
Wow.
Really?
Not one.
She didn't go to one protest last summer. Even this bitch said, really?
And honey,
Tell us.
I wanted to be in movement in a different role.
So she was too good to do the marching. She wanted y'all to march, and she's too good for it. Let's see. She want to be in a different role. Bitch, I'm Martin Luther King. I want to be on the poster. Y'all do the marching. See what this shit is about?
I just made a commitment to myself, just like around this concept of rest. What I wanted.
Rest? So while everybody else is in unrest, marching for her people like she said we need to be doing, she needed some rest. Because, quote unquote, I guess because she put it together and she's Amazonian. She's the queen. You see, it's the queen concept. I came up with a lot of this stuff. Not to mention, they're just regurgitating a lot of things. Like she said, Angela Davis, a lot of things that people already put up in the civil rights era. They're just building off the backs of that bullshit, which was already exposed by Donald Trump and them, and even before as whistleblowing as control opposition by the communists and socialists, or by the Socialist Party, the Soviet socialists.
Do was lean.
Who were trying to install socialism into America by using the oppression and apply to the so-called black man. But that's a whole nother thing for another motherfucking day. I see what my boy COJ be going through. Now that I'm running point guard, you know what I'm saying?
Into what I thought was on the other side of protests, right? Which always happens. You have this ebb and flow.
Yes.
And when the protests die down,
Nothing ever is really, and I say this in a long-term sense, nothing really, like how long were we if protesting really worked, like if you study history, protests don't work, wars work. Fighting, you have to physically fight. You have to fight and go to war with people to kill off the people in power. Like the Bible, people always talk about, oh, God of the Bible had them go and slay. How the fuck else are you going to stop? Like, watch a superhero. How do you stop the bad guys? Right? Like, how do you deal with somebody that has a nuke? You don't negotiate with them. You people are protesting as a form of really throwing a temper tantrum and asking somebody, I'm going to keep fucking up and until you listen to me. But people don't have to listen to you if they don't need you. They know eventually they run the laws. They make the laws. They run the country. They can cut off your ability to make money because they know in the so-called black community, we don't even spend. They have the data. They know they have our analytics on these phones. And you got black people who are living off Section 8, don't have a car, but they got the latest iPhone and the latest TikTok apps, and they're not reading the terms and service agreements. And they're tracking all of your stuff. They know everything you want to do. Plus, they've invested millions, probably trillions of dollars into the understanding the psychology of the so-called black brain. they already know we're not going to come together. How do they know this? And then they even really know it because they put people like these people allegedly, well, not even allegedly, but allegedly, these people, and they use them as puppets to see if we'll follow them, and they get us to follow people who they set into power. So they already know we're not going to do what we got to do to come together and hurt, do like other communities and threaten to take our dollar. We don't even have that type of organization, because black people would never do that, because what that would mean is you would have to trust another black person to get your resources. And we've been so incrementally brainwashed, and I'm kind of countering, coming off with some Chronicle stuff, which I'll cut this out, and rephrase it in my own word, or really I'll just give him credit, but we'll figure out. But I'm piggybacking off of what he's saying to really show that we've been brainwashed through the deculturalization and the removal of our ancient image. We don't know who we have been on this planet. We don't know who we are, where we come from, what we do. We've been misled and mistaught about our history, right? Your history is supposed to be a archive of the things that your ancestors, the people with your genetics, your abilities have done in the way they have contributed on the planet, so that you know your role, because you know what people with your characteristics have always been able to do and contribute at a societal level. So they removed that from us and replaced it with us being slaves, and even then with Africans, and Africans with just us being in the jungle wearing basically being savages. And then they still debate on what kind of, then the people who civilized Africa, they still won't even let you have those people. So we're just wild savages. So that's where you get the battle of people doing women king and trying to add civility to these literally cursed African tribes, if you, according to the scriptures. But people who still run around and live primally. And so all of this is taking place, and then they install people like this to lead movements to do the same protests that we've been doing. Like, before my grandma passed, she even said shit ain't really changed. It's changed, but you still got our people who were picking cotton. They still don't own their land. You got people who served the military, went and fought. They, just now starting businesses. So doesn't this go against egalitarianism and all this other shit? So if we're protesting and we have to fight because people who are elected unfairly, right? Because they're talking about voter fraud and all this other shit. People that are unfairly given an advantage and systematic. If these people are always doing these dirty things, what is arguing with them going to do? And they got the military behind them. But I guess that's supposed to be the thing, is, if we go and we get them. But trust me, man, if this shit is as systemic as you're talking about, then you're talking about 200 years of conspiracy to keep quote unquote black lives not mattering. So what is protest going to do?
You always get that conversation.
I'm only 26. This broad is however old, and she's speaking on the level of a baby, a little girl. She's just a little girl that's old, fat, and got makeup and got her hair done and drinking wine.
About, well, what rules are you changing?
That's right.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, always get that conversation about, well, what rules are you changing?
That's right.
That's another thing, right? These people are changing these rules, change agents. Are we united as black people, right? To change rules for all black people, don't we have to be united in what we believe is best for black people? Won't we have to identify what makes you a black person? Won't we have to identify, isn't that only answered by studying history and who is what? Because don't we know? Isn't there evidence that there wasn't one race of black people? Like, come on. Don't we know that white, black, and Asian, white, yellow, and black are constructs created by the same people that they say that they're against? Okay. No, we don't know that, obviously.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what actually comes out of this? And so I think the other thing, though, that happened was that I got super overwhelmed. You know, I think...
You hear that, bro? She got super overwhelmed. Overwhelmed with what? So she couldn't march or go to protest because she got overwhelmed, even though she had been planning this shit for 7 years. This is a leader. So when shit got hard, she went into hiding.
The
Still let us donate to her.
Discovery.
Why are we wearing shirts that promote an organization and letting our favorite athletes and promoting athletes who promote an organization that's taking donations and speaking on the behalf of us as a community, ran by lesbian women who don't believe in the nuclear family, right? Which was black man and black woman, black child. They don't believe in that. And that's what we were supposed to be fighting for. That's what the basis of my ancestors fought for. So I personally can't let this person speak for me. I don't agree with them. My ancestors don't agree with that. I wasn't raised that way. People always love to bring up Black Wall Street, all these other kingdoms and stuff like that, right? You had a king and a queen. You didn't have two queens. Men built... Come on, man.
Right. People are like, what is this Black Lives Matter thing? This is amazing. How long has this thing been around?
Black women started. No idea.
You know, and I just remember...
That's what it's about. Black women started this.
Like, I would get stuff and I'd turn over my phone. I'd be like, no, child, no. I don't want to do that again.
Yes.
Right? And we have a different story to tell now, you know? So I've been sitting in that a lot. But
It's going to be a great series because I get in the rabbit hole. So you know how Chronicles be like, I got into the rabbit hole. I'm building the infrastructure to find the initial moment I'm getting into the rabbit hole. Because that shit just resonates so much better. Those moments, not necessarily from a teaching aspect. It's always good to teach from the aspect of already understanding what you're teaching on. But just, even if I'm watching a video of Chronicles and he's like, would you look at this? It sheds light in how nuanced and how unorganized this world is, to where you don't have to be somewhere on a mountain studying these things for 3,000 years to know the truth, to know elements of the truth. You just have to look. And that's how the Most High, that just verifies when the Most High says you seek truth, you will find it. And that he deals with babies, you know what I'm saying? And so you could be a babe in the knowledge and have more knowledge than an old man, the oldest person on earth, that thinks they know everything but have been indoctrinated.
So started thinking a lot more about my own emotional health.
Yes.
So this person has emotional issues but wants to be a leader.
You know, and really saying no.
How do we know you're not under some, you know, how do we know that your brain won't have an attack or a meltdown? How do we know you're not schizophrenic? We don't know what you are.
Stuff and being resolute in the no.
Yeah.
Because I started to like have anxiety attacks actually. Like
Wow.
it was so odd because all that attention again brings up all this stuff for people, right? And y'all, I don't have to tell y'all, but it brings up a lot of stuff for people and they lay it at your feet. And
What stuff? What is the stuff? Tell me the stuff. I want to know the stuff. I'm a so-called black. I'm trying to buy into this. I'm putting you on my platform. What is this stuff?
respond to it.
Yeah,
Like,
show it to me. You want my money. You're speaking for black people. I'm a member of the black community, right? It's all about egalitarianism and all of that, right? So and you're with the Democratic Party, there's the only reason I'm saying egalitarianism, because you got to be contributing to what they believe in, because this is who you're promoting and telling us to vote for. You're telling us not to vote for Trump, and you want us to vote for Hillary. This is what she believes in, egalitarianism on the behalf of the UN and Joe Biden.
I'm just minding my own business. That's literally what I'm doing. I'm trying to stay hydrated. I'm trying to stay in my lane, and I'm trying to mind my business.
Yeah.
Like,
So why didn't you do that why are you doing that now? So is the work over?
why are we prone to this.
Yeah.
So it just forced me to like
It's
take it
crazy as fuck.
serious. And I'm so glad. You know, I started riding my bike all the time. I love me some Pelly.
These are little girls. This is like watching some fucking teenagers, some 13-year-olds, man. Like, I remember when I go to middle school, you know, you used to sit around your homegirls and shit girls you had classes with. I used to have to sit while my home, you know, if you sitting and eating your food, you sit and eat. And then, you know, the girls, they would sit at these tables while the boys would play basketball. And I remember sometimes you sitting there trying to finish your food. Maybe you were late from class or you got in the line late and you're just now eating while all the niggas was playing and you be there with the girls and they just be sitting there. You just be soaking up their conversation, man. Or if you got aunties or mamas or little cousins, this is how they act, man.
You know, so I'm feeling good.
Which nothing is wrong with this, you know what I'm saying? This is how the female is supposed to act, you know what I mean? But you cannot be on the front line of a racially motivated movement that you're dealing with a hostile opposition that you claim is this great superpower in the world and all this other shit and be having mental breakdowns to where you have to go into hiding. That's cowardice. But obviously, we know the woman's not, you know, pertaining to scripture, the woman is not the head, the man is the head. You know, that's what we believe. They don't believe that. But they're suffering from a lot of the ailments that come from not accepting the natural order that the Most High made. It just comes in narcissism because the woman exhibits and experiences, right, the effects of going away from, you know, the experiences of what happens in the events leading up to going against the Most High's order. They end up finding out the hard way and they're going through it, but they're just in denial because they have latched onto these ideological leanings that have been given from the same people that they say they're against. And these women are definitely founded by the Caucasian Jew. And this ain't, I'm not uploading this yet, so I could say this, you know what I mean, who is the enemy, one of the enemies. We know the real enemy of ourselves are our own people and ourselves in the mirror, the darker aspect of our own community, you know.
And I'm feeling like we're winning.
Yeah.
We're winning. We are winning.
How do you know we're winning?
You know, girl, we
Even said, how do we know we're winning?
changed this conversation so many times.
Yes.
And I know we're winning because it's not just a cultural shift anymore.
Yes.
It's
Like if I was doing something with Millie, I wouldn't say, yeah, man, we're winning. I say, how you know we're winning? I say, yeah, nigga, we beating their ass. That's confidence. That means we have a plan, a comprehensive plan. Especially if we're doing something in front of the world, trying to present ourselves as leaders and shit. Come on, bro.
Yes.
it is
I was a little shaky about interrupting my shit to watch this, but sometimes you gotta do this, you know what I'm saying? This might be the wave, man. That's what I said. This might be a long, comprehensive series that we do. We pre-produce in a freestyle format because you never know when I'm gonna need to use this footage. You know what I mean? But we already got the breakdown.
driving new conversations.
Just to make my point. Remember, my greater point was this was an organization that was presented by the media, the government, everything, right? Black Lives Matter. This was the biggest shit. Everybody, you would get your page taken down if you said something against this organization. And then we find out that these people took this money and bought a mansion. And even before we get to that, we ain't even got to that part, or we're looking at it, but this is the visual of how these people are living in the mansion. They had the gall to put this out as a celebration. You guys are supposed to be, you college students, you activists are in the streets every day protesting, right? Things still ain't changing, right? At the time of this, right? Police still ain't been defunded and all this shit they pushing for. And they're sitting at this mansion in California, in LA, I guess they say, sitting and celebrating they win, saying, and this girl right here, the co-founder, is saying she didn't go to a single protest because she had to protect her mind. But now she's ready to come out because we're winning. So when shit got hard, she couldn't even handle it. Even though she was supposed to be the leader, she did 7 years of work, and they came up with a slogan and organized a group. But you, the members of the group who were out there marching, some of you idiots, not to, no disrespect, you guys did all the work. She didn't even know that they were going to make it. But you guys who didn't even have a plan, you just reacted and took initiative. You guys made her plan happen. And now she can come out of hiding. The fuck?
It's about rules and how the rules are being made and who's making the rules and what the rules are and why they are that way.
Yeah, exactly. I'm with that too.
And I know it because
So I wouldn't mind having conversations with these people because I know we're going to fundamentally disagree with everything, but I would want them to explain where they get their beliefs from. And then that's what black people need to do, is sit down and go over. The black community is going to have to divide like the other races do. Because we're in a state of trying to reform and reclaim our nationality. Right? Just like in Iran, you have all these different groups of quote unquote Arabs fighting over what is going to be the right way. This is the same shit that the so-called blacks went through in medieval Europe, ancient Israel, and all blah, 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 right? It's different. We got different beliefs, right? But how do you form your beliefs? It's supposed to be based in tradition, right? And so we got to understand they even base theirs in tradition, right? You'll see that. These people, they'll let you know what their spiritual beliefs are. You know what I mean? And where they get their stuff from. So we have to understand, all right, where are you getting your rules from? Where are you getting this from? Because my grandmother taught me this and this and that. She was there. Where are you getting this from? These books say this. My ancestors say this, that, the third. This is the history of my people. Where are you getting your shit from? That where has what you said worked in history? Has this worked before? What's the plan? So once we know your plan, we know your allegiances, then we can figure out whether we are with you or against you, or whether you're for us or against us. So we still have to get to this point where we had this conversation. But you see, this is 3 women at a round table deciding what's good for black people. We're the black men. You can't have a black community without black men and black women. But the thing is, these women don't respect men. They're not even with men. They're lesbians. So they don't respect black men, the value of black men. The black man is the creator of the black seed. Even the Afrocentrists believe this. So without black men, right? You can't have black children. You can't have the black seed. But okay. Even if you believe that, the black woman created the black man and then thus does the chicken and the egg, right? Aren't these white people, isn't this a discussion how white people have ruined everything and this and that, the third? So why would you put the white seed inside of the black woman? If we want to get back to where we were, because a lot of these people's shit is based in Afrocentrism and stuff like that. But we're going to break these. I'm going to the body right now. Right now, I'm just stretching. You know what I'm saying? I ain't even start going to the liver yet. I'm just parrying the jab and countering with a left hook. I'm just warming up.
We've been in 8 years of these conversations now.
Right.
8 years. I thought it was 7 years.
And that's a good thing. I think sometimes people
Might not be a real organization.
feel like, I've used this metaphor with you before, that like change is like a snack machine. So like you put your quarter in and you press like B6 and you get your Snickers bar.
Right.
It's not like that.
Yes.
You know, there's lots of, sometimes the thing gets stuck. Sometimes it gives you the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes,
Sometimes
you know.
all the shit falls out.
And you're like, ah, right?
And that's why you have to have a plan before you try to lead a global movement. And you have to correspond. There's not going to be one or three black people that lead us as a whole community out of our condition. There's going to have to be a whole, I can't think of the word right now, but a whole cognoscenti of black people, of the most gifted people, all sitting down and coming up with a comprehensive plan and getting on the same page. That's how all races do. It's not going to be three fat old black women coming up with a plan as they go against the greatest militaristic superpower in the world. This is not fucking Black Panther. These people, man, either they're delusional or they're just playing a role, which either way they're both to be going against the Most High. The Most High is not with them, and that's why I'm speaking to my brews. This is a brew crew to let y'all know, don't be in bed with this bullshit. And so you know why I'm saying what I'm saying, and I'm presenting you the information so you can make your own mind up. I'm not gonna tell a nigga what to do. I'm just gonna give you information as a brother. That's the obligation of me to speak to my own people, because I know we've been misled so much. That's just, I feel compelled to speak out to all the people who have been misled and give you a chance to wake up. That's what the Most High in the Mashiach tells us to do. But once I've done that, the choice is up to you, and you're gonna have to suffer your judgment and your fate, depending on your element in faith and what the Most High, quote unquote, the universe with your eyes are showing you.
Yeah.
It has been, I think, both equally powerful, invigorating, exhilarating, as well as devastating.
Yes.
Talking about exhilarating, and so they're having fun doing this shit. Is fun to them. What's fun about leading a revolutionary movement? Especially when you're not on, but I guess you can say that when you're not on the front lines.
What time is it?
Yes.
You know, from Melina being freaking having the cops show up to your home swatted, and
With my kids.
with your kids, and getting Tandiwe like calling me over and over again, and I missed the call, and I go on your Instagram, and I'm like getting the chills just thinking about it, to the freaking right attacking you and me, and us having to get the FBI.
That was crazy.
That was wild.
Like, you
The right, the FBI, and like you see, they think this shit is fun. It's a thrill. It's a thrill to them. The freedom of the black community is like, you know, sneaking out of the house and trying not to get caught by their parents. That's how they speaking right now, man. This shit is crazy.
can't make this shit up.
No, you really cannot.
And I just think that, you know, in the midst of last year in particular, I did feel that feeling of like, we're here.
Right.
Like, we're in this moment, and we have to stay in it, and we have to press on, and we may not get this opening again. This time around, I felt more prepared on multiple fronts. I felt more prepared around, you know, gaslighting around defund. I felt more prepared around our own security. You know, we got the security stuff, both cyber and physical, on point this time around. I still think it's crazy that we used to travel alone,
Girl.
to
Bro, nobody knows who the fuck you people are.
tiny little towns. I just don't even understand.
Nobody-
And you guys are probably government agents. Probably fucking, who knows? Nobody knows these people. That's my whole point. I would not have recognized these people, man. Nobody knows you.
cared about us.
See,
Nobody-
here, look,
Pounds. I just don't even understand.
Nobody cared.
Nobody
cared about us.
Yeah, nobody cared about y'all. Exactly. So even the one in the middle, she speaks with a lot more tone of reality. You know what I mean? So we're gonna have to get into her background because she's kind of the most plugged into all of these three. Cause this right here is somebody's man. I don't know. Everybody knows this fat girl like this, man. Well, you know, the fat girl in school, man, trying to like you, you know, always joking and
Nobody cared about us.
I
always smelling like goddamn hot links.
back at him like at 2015, 2016, we were all just
Everybody know fat people can't smell like damn self, man. Fuck with it.
traveling alone, like not really.
Not even checking in and saying I landed.
Exactly.
Right.
Just being like degular, like
Or looking up when you're in the airport line and seeing your face on Fox News.
right.
And being like, I'm not safe right now. What am I doing?
Oh my God. The things I said for attention, they actually got the attention and now I'm moving. Come on, whatever.
That was different this time. That was different, and I also think our larger movement had a collectivity to it that was different because we have been practicing together. I think though for me, the hardest moments have been the right-wing media machine. Just leveraging literally all its weight against me, against our movement, against BLM the organization. I'm some weeks out now from
Well, wait a minute. Doesn't the right wing only capitulate to their constituencies, meaning hard right-wing conservatives? So if you guys are speaking for black people, and you guys believe that this was a racially divided country and racially divided election, wouldn't you already expect that the people you're going against who would they be influencing? Right? If you guys were speaking to the true black issues, then you shouldn't worry about your constituency being black people, right? You're supposed to Black Lives Matter and white people that understand it, right? Because if somebody doesn't understand that Black Lives Matter, they're a racist. So if somebody's fundamentally a racist, what good is trying to change what they're thinking? So that shouldn't even be part of the plan. The plan should be to gather up everybody that's part of your movement. You should only want sane people, right? Only sane people can even be reached. So we're gonna take a break from this. I'm gonna end this one right here, and we're gonna pick up later when I eat some food. I'm starting to see though how easy it'd be to break things down when you got the lab and you got the setup and the shit right in front of you, and you can share your screen and you got the right production. COJ, holla at me, nigga. You got all that shit, it just makes it so easy. And so we're gonna review this episode, and we're gonna pick up at 11:36. All right, man, we'll be back.